Hello guys and welcome to the Gentleman Builder, the channel that makes you a thinker in Minecraft. My latest episode about crop design was well received and I enjoyed seeing your comments about it in the comment section. I also saw some people creating farms inspired by mine and I absolutely am in love with your designs. But there was one thing that you guys seemed to like most, and that happened to be my trees. So this week I decided to make me some custom trees and explain what I do with it to make them as realistic as possible. But stay tuned, because the last two trees will absolutely blow your mind, as these will include a technique that is only be seen on this very YouTube channel on YouTube. The original trees within the games are rather boring in my opinion. We have several trees in the game: oak, spruce, birch, acacia, dark oak, a giant spruce tree and the jungle trees. The trees themselves look recognizable at best, but could use a good remodeling, so some of these will get one in this video. The 6 trees however do have very interesting leaf designs. These change color depending on the biome, but that is something for another video. The leaves, in order, are oak, which has rather large leaves as design and is a regular green. Spruce, with spruce tree shaped leaves in a dark green color with a hint of blue. Birch, which has very small leaves and is a vague dark green. Jungle. This one has the largest leaves and what appears to be some kind of lime fruit in it. Acacia, with rather small leaves and long sticks attached to it. And dark oak, with an almost the same design as the oak, just darker and a little bit more filling. These leaves will be the basement of most of our trees in this video. And to show these off, I will need to have another perspective. Alright, so I just changed perspectives, and as you can see I created a lot of different trees with some very special ones with coral over there, so stay tuned for that. And as you see, behind every single tree I created the stem or the trunk and just the inner side of the trees without the leaves, so that you guys can see on how I start with every single tree. So this is a palm tree, obviously, and yeah, this is the inner side, the stem of this is the stem of the palm tree, and as you can see it's very thin looking and it turns into something very thin. That's why I decided to use walls. I used fences, and on top I created a little bit of the fluffy parts on top of every single palm tree. And there are a lot of different designs, so don't take this as the ultimatum, but I created this one, this specific branch, which has a lot of star-shaped leaves, and it's a little bit of a ball on top of it, as you could have seen on the picture that I just showed. And yeah, I think it turned out really nice. And this is just a few strings, some bigger leaves that go out, and that's also why I decided to do the jungle leaves, because those are the biggest leaves we actually have in the game. And the next one is a white spruce tree, and as you can see, this is the inner side. It builds up just like the tree itself, which I find is very interesting, and it really helps to lay out the shape for yourself if you do something like this, and it's very realistic as well. And yeah, as you can see, it's barely even noticeable that this is red, because the nether brick wall is so dark. And I created some flower pots. I put them inside of them to create some pine cones. I know this is the right spruce tree. Doesn't have pine cones, but in Minecraft there are not a lot of differences between pines and spruces, even though there are differences in real life. Don't get me wrong, there are a lot of different spruce and pine variants in different shapes as well, but this is the most common version that we know of these types of trees, and I think that it turned out really neat. And as you can see, I created basically the same design as the palm tree, but just upside down, so to speak, and it starts out really big on the lower sides, and it comes closer to the middle part whenever you go to the top, and I think it looks really nice. The next one is my rendition of a birch tree, and as you can see, I did not use any of the birch blocks because I think those blocks most of the times are very big trunks, and I wanted to create a smaller tree. And the diorite wall, as you can see in this video on top, the video about walls, is a very neat design for trees. And yeah, you can see it over here. I created some bigger branches, some smaller ones on top, and I just added a lot of leaves around it. The birch leaf, obviously, because it's a birch tree, and these leaves are really well done actually within the game. So yeah, I think it looks really nice, really realistic. And oh yeah, the lower parts I created some extra feeling, some yeah, it's a little bit thicker. It's a little bit thicker. It's not just a full block yet, but this could be very interesting for an entire trunk or the entire stem of a tree. So keep that in mind. That's also a possibility within the game. The next tree is actually the tree that inspired this entire video, which is the apple tree. And yeah, as you can see, it's a really big trunk, a really big stem with a lot of loose branches, some thicker branches as well. These are short trees and very thick trees. I used the dark oak wood just so that it was a little bit thicker and a little bit darker as well. Yeah, I must say the branches look really nice. As you can see, I used the trapdoors to create some of the roots, but not too big and not too shabby. So as you can see, it has a little bit of a short and a very dense leaves around it with very big leaves, so that's why I used the jungle leaves. And yeah, the flower pots again as the apples, and I think it turned out rather good. The next one is actually a double one, and this is the horse chestnut. And yeah, it's a really big and a really thick tree with some really thick branches, and as you can see over here, I'm going over here, I added a lot of thinner branches with the fences. One of the most favorite things to put together is the oak wood, the oak wood and the spruce friends, because the colorizations match up so well, and I think this could look very interesting and looks very good on its own in a very scary map or something like that. But let's go back to the chestnut, and as you can see, it's like a mushroom cap on top of the stem, because all of this is hollow, which is really interesting. I mean, can you imagine, and especially a lot of Europeans have done this, when they went up trees like these, you could actually climb these trees and just sit on the branches because there's so much space in between them. And yeah, this makes this tree look very realistic. The other one is the same tree with the big leaves. Again, I used the big leaves, so I used the jungle leaves for this. but I added some blossom. And this tree has white blossom, and with wild edit I created the azure bluets all over the place, and it just looks gorgeous. The next section is a pollard willow. For the people who don't know what a pollard willow is, let's have a look over here. The pollard willows are very much used in the Netherlands alongside ditches, and yeah, it's a very weird tree. It's just a big trunk with some branches sticking out of it. That's it. The reason why is because every winter they cut off all of these branches and just the trunk remains, and that's it. And I don't know why they do it, but it is something they do, and that creates into some very thin leaves. I used some darker leaves because I thought it would look better. Most of them are very dark, especially later on in the season. If they are very young, they are very bright, which is obviously, of course. But yeah, it looks very, very interesting. And I did not use a lot of these blocks because there is just not a lot of leaf in these types of trees. The next one is the weeping willow, and I have to have a look at the back over here. As you can see, the branches are very thin and they slowly droop downwards. And yeah, it's a really weird looking tree because the branches are very flexible. And it just looks like a really, really sad tree. Which it is, because it's a weeping willow. And as you can see, I just put the leaves on top of it and make them droop down on the sides. And yeah, it's a very interesting tree. It looks amazing alongside rivers, etc. And I think it turned out really, really nice. As you can see, I also used some iron bars just to create some even thinner looking branches going down. And I used the acacia leaves because I wanted to have really, really small leaves, which were not too heavy on the tree. The next one is the cherry blossom, and as you can see, this is how most people make cherry blossoms. They use wool, they use the pink glaze terracotta, the pink terracotta, the pink glass, etc. And yeah, as you can see, it's a very thick tree again. This is basically the same design as you have seen with the apple tree. That's because they are similar in shape. And yeah, most of the people tend to use these glazed terracotta. I do now as well because it's just a giant leaf shape on it, so why wouldn't I? And here we are at the main event, coral trees. Yes, your eyes are not deceiving you. I really want to show you guys why I think certain parts could do perfectly on certain other things, and this is a great example. And a lot of people think, how the hell did you do that? Is that a texture pack? No, this is not a texture pack, believe me. As you can see, the video pops up right now over there. Yeah, click on it if you want to know how on earth I did this. And my god, it looks amazing. This is the second cherry blossom design compared to this one, because everybody does this, but I want to change to this, and it looks absolutely amazing. The coral really creates small branches of flowers on the tree, and I had to use some barriers over here and over there as well, because these need to stand on something, which is very important, which is a little bit of extra information on the coral video which I just talked about. And the last one, just look over here. This is the red birch. So when it's autumn, the leaves of the birch turn red. And yeah, I used fire coral for this one. As you can see, it's a very similar design as you have seen over there, and this is why I said don't copy my work, just get inspired by my work, because this shows that it could look differently compared to the other ones but still look like an amazing tree. So don't copy anything, just inspire by this one. And oh my god, this just absolutely looks amazing. These two at this point are my prized possessions in tree building, and I really hope you guys are going to check out this video just so that you guys can try this as well. So I hope you guys have enjoyed this video about making trees. Be sure to hit the like button and subscribe for more ideas and designs in the future. Oh, and remember, join the thinkers.